Whales today may be gentle giants, quietly gliding through the vast oceans, but millions of years ago, a completely different kind of whale ruled the ancient seas. That was Basilosaurus, a true monster. It was not gentle, nor did it filter feed on tiny plankton swarms. Instead, it was a bloodthirsty predator, a 20-meter-long killing machine weighing up to 15 to 20 tons, capable of crushing a prey's skull with a bite stronger than that of today's great white shark. The jaws of Basilosaurus were among the most terrifying ever to exist. Unlike modern whales, it did not swallow its prey whole, but bit, tore, and crushed each part of the body before devouring it. With sharp canines to pierce flesh and ridged molars to crush bones, it could rip a prey's skull apart in an instant. Studies suggest that Basilosaurus had a bite force of up to 20,000 newtons, 5 times stronger than a lion's bite, and powerful enough to shatter a human femur in a single chomp. Fossils of Basilosaurus have been found alongside the bones of the ancient shark Otodus, suggesting that it may have hunted sharks. But what's even more terrifying is that scientists have discovered the fossilized remains of a smaller whale, Dorudon, inside the stomach of Basilosaurus, proving that it even hunted and devoured its own kind. This is undeniable evidence of Basilosaurus's brutally predatory instincts. One fascinating mystery about Basilosaurus is its bizarre appearance. When scientists first discovered its fossils in the 19th century, they were completely mistaken. Its long, slender body resembled a sea serpent, unlike modern whales. It had no dorsal fin or the familiar shape of today's whales. Instead, its body moved in an eel-like motion rather than the horizontal tail movements of modern whales. They initially believed they had unearthed a descendant of the mosasaur, the marine lizard from the Cretaceous period. That's why they named it Basilosaurus, meaning king lizard. But as it turned out, this was not an ancient reptile at all, but a true whale, one of the first predatory whales in history. It wasn't until the late 19th century, when scientists examined its teeth and found similarities with modern whale teeth, that they realized Basilosaurus was actually a primitive whale, not a reptile. And although the name king lizard was a mistake, it was already too widely used to be changed. This is arguably one of the strangest scientific mistakes in paleontology. What do you think about this error? If you had the chance, what name would you give Basilosaurus instead? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Could a ruthless predator like Basilosaurus rival legendary oceanic beasts like Megalodon, the giant predator with a bite force strong enough to crush a car, or Livyatan, the monster with the largest teeth ever discovered? Let's find out. But first, I have a question for you. Which of the following animals has been found in Basilosaurus stomach fossils? A. Megalodon. B. Dorudon, a smaller whale. C. Plesiosaurs. D. Mosasaurs.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Answer: B. Dorudon, a smaller whale. Now, let's begin our journey into the origins of whales, starting with one of the ocean's most fearsome predators. The terror and bizarre appearance of Basilosaurus. This monstrous creature lived around 40 to 34 million years ago, during the late Eocene period. Fossils of Basilosaurus have been discovered in North America, North Africa, and parts of the Middle East, indicating that it had a vast range and reigned as the apex predator of the seas for millions of years. If you are familiar with the image of the blue whale, gentle giants with massive bodies and a graceful swimming motion powered by their enormous horizontal tails, then Basilosaurus is a completely different story. This prehistoric whale was not only far from gentle, but also had a terrifying appearance unlike any other whale that has ever existed. Basilosaurus could reach a length of 18 to 20 meters, much larger than many modern whales, such as the humpback whale, 14 to 17 meters, and nearly as long as the pygmy blue whale, 24 to 26 meters. However, the biggest difference was not in size, but in body shape. Instead of having a massive body with a large dorsal fin, like a blue whale or an orca, Basilosaurus had a long, slender body, almost like a giant sea serpent. This made it one of the strangest-looking whales ever known. Unlike modern whales, which have large tail flukes that allow them to swim by powerful up-and-down strokes, Basilosaurus lacked such a large tail, meaning it couldn't swim in the typical whale-like manner. Instead, scientists discovered that Basilosaurus moved by undulating its body like a sea eel. This swimming style, commonly seen in sea snakes and moray eels, allowed it to glide through the water with agility and stealthily approach its prey. It was an optimal movement strategy for an ambush predator, enabling it to stalk prey without making too much noise. But the strangest thing was that its body didn't resemble modern whales at all. It looked more like a giant sea serpent. Its long, slender form, combined with the absence of large tail flukes, made it incapable of the powerful tail-driven swimming seen in today's whales. Instead, Basilosaurus moved with an eel-like undulation, a highly flexible and efficient way of hunting unsuspecting prey. Basilosaurus couldn't even dive deep like modern whales. Its bones were hollow and lightweight, forcing it to hunt near the ocean's surface instead of diving deep like sperm whales or blue whales. This meant it hunted using an ambush from above strategy, striking down suddenly to catch its prey off guard. A deadly hunting technique, similar to land predators like cheetahs or sea eagles. But what's even more terrifying is that Basilosaurus still carried remnants of its land-dwelling ancestors. It had a pair of tiny legs on either side of its body, vestiges of the hind limbs its ancestors once used to walk on land. This was crucial evidence of the evolutionary transition from land-dwelling mammals to fully aquatic whales, making Basilosaurus an important link in whale evolution. When paleontologists first discovered its fossils in the early 19th century, they thought it was a giant reptile because its body shape resembled a sea serpent. That's why it was named Basilosaurus, meaning king lizard. It wasn't until later that scientists realized it was actually a primitive whale, but the name remained. Some people, after seeing reconstructions of this creature, couldn't help but exclaim, "It looks like a sea serpent, but way scarier." And honestly, if it were still alive today, nobody would dare to go into the ocean. Basilosaurus wasn't just bizarre in appearance. It also had one of the most terrifying jaws in prehistoric history. Unlike modern whales, which have thin teeth or baleen plates for filter feeding, Basilosaurus had an exceptionally unique set of teeth. Long, sharp canines, similar to those of a crocodile, designed to pierce through the flesh of its prey. Large, rugged molars, perfect for crushing bones with ease. This was a one-of-a-kind feature among whales, proving that Basilosaurus was an apex predator. Not a gentle filter feeder like today's blue whale. But the most terrifying thing about Basilosaurus was its bite force. Researchers estimate that it could generate a bite force of up to 20,000 newtons, comparable to that of a saltwater crocodile, the strongest bite of any living animal today. With this power, it could easily crush the skull of its prey in a single bite, leaving no chance for escape. Fossil evidence has revealed the sheer brutality of this ancient monster. Basilosaurus bite marks have been found on the remains of Autodus, a giant prehistoric shark, as well as on the skulls of Dorodon, a smaller whale species from the same era. This proves that it hunted both sharks and other whales, making it one of the most fearsome ocean predators of the prehistoric world. With such devastating power and lethal weaponry, Basilosaurus undoubtedly had an incredibly effective hunting strategy. It didn't waste time circling its prey like a shark. Instead, it went straight for the skull, delivering a precise and crushing bite that instantly shattered bones, leaving no chance for escape. This strategy was especially effective against smaller whales and sharks, as Basilosaurus didn't need to attack multiple times. It could end the fight in an instant. If it existed today, even the mighty great white shark might think twice before challenging this monster. Some scientists believe that Basilosaurus may not have been a solitary hunter, but could have hunted in packs, a theory that makes it even more terrifying. If that were true, escaping from this creature would have been nearly impossible. Imagine if Basilosaurus were still alive. Today, what if Basilosaurus never went extinct and still roamed the oceans today? That would mean a 20-meter-long whale, shaped like a giant sea serpent, slithering beneath the waves, hunting sharks. Perhaps the beaches we love wouldn't be so crowded anymore. No one would feel safe swimming, knowing that such a monster was lurking beneath the water. One person once said, "If this thing were still alive, no one would dare go to the beach anymore." And that makes perfect sense. If you're afraid of sharks, just imagine a massive snake-like whale swimming right beneath you. That thought alone would haunt anyone. So, what do you think about Basilosaurus? Does it deserve the title of one of the most ruthless killers of the ancient world? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Now, let's compare Basilosaurus with some of the most terrifying predators in history: Megalodon, Orca, and Livyatan. When talking about the most fearsome predators to ever dominate the oceans, two names stand out: Basilosaurus and Megalodon. One was a massive serpent-like whale with a brutally efficient hunting strategy. The other was a giant shark, capable of crushing anything in its jaws. If these two prehistoric titans clashed, who would win? Megalodon, the largest shark of all time. Megalodon, Otodus megalodon, was the biggest shark ever known, with truly monstrous proportions. Length, 16 to 20 meters. Some theories suggest up to 25 meters. Weight, between 50 to 100 tons. Bite force, around 180,000 newtons, the strongest bite in animal history. Megalodon was the apex of shark evolution, armed with 18-centimeter serrated teeth, capable of crushing whale bones in a single bite. No predator dared to face it head-on. But Basilosaurus was an exception. Basilosaurus was about 18 to 20 meters long, similar in size to Megalodon, but much lighter, 10 to 15 tons. However, its true terror lay in its hunting strategy, which we previously explored. Equipped with sharp teeth and a bite force of around 20,000 newtons, it had a lower bite force than Megalodon, but was still highly destructive. Using an incredibly effective hunting technique, it was a formidable predator. So, Megalodon versus Basilosaurus. Who would win? This battle is difficult to determine because they had two very different hunting styles. Megalodon had overwhelming size and strength, capable of ending Basilosaurus with a single powerful bite. Basilosaurus, on the other hand, had a smarter hunting strategy, targeting the skull to bring down its opponent instantly. The key factor could be the environment. In deep waters, Megalodon would have the advantage. In shallow waters or near the coast, Basilosaurus could use its speed and strategy to counterattack. In terms of raw power, Megalodon could crush Basilosaurus. However, if Basilosaurus landed a precise attack on a weak spot, it could take down even a giant shark. Our verdict: The winner is Megalodon. Basilosaurus versus Orca. Modern killer versus prehistoric monster. Today, the top ocean predator is the orca, killer whale. With superior intelligence and cooperative hunting, orcas can even take down great white sharks. But what if an orca had to face Basilosaurus? Orca, the apex predator of today. Length, 6 to 9 meters. Largest males can reach 10 meters. Weight, 5 to 6 tons. Bite force, around 18,000 newtons, stronger than a lion or crocodile. Hunting strategy, works in packs, using coordinated attacks to surround prey. Basilosaurus versus Orca, who wins? In terms of individual strength, Basilosaurus completely dominates. It's twice the size of an orca. However, orcas hunt in packs, and when working together, they can take down prey much larger than themselves. In a one-on-one fight, Basilosaurus would undoubtedly win. But if a pod of orcas attacked, Basilosaurus could be in serious trouble. Our verdict: the winner is Basilosaurus. Among all prehistoric marine predators, Livyatan is the only one that could truly match Basilosaurus in a fair fight. Nicknamed the giant killer whale, Livyatan was the nightmare of the Miocene oceans. Livyatan, the killer whale of the Miocene length, 17 to 18 meters, nearly the same as Basilosaurus. Weight, 50 to 60 tons, much heavier than Basilosaurus. Bite force, 30,000 newtons, stronger than Basilosaurus and nearly rivaling Megalodon. Teeth, up to 36 centimeters, 14 inches long, the largest whale teeth ever recorded. Basilosaurus versus Livyatan, a battle of apex predators. This would be an incredibly unpredictable showdown, as both were top-tier hunters with distinct strengths. Livyatan was bigger and had a more powerful bite, meaning it could take down Basilosaurus with a single devastating bite. Basilosaurus was faster and more agile, allowing it to dodge attacks and strike at Livyatan's head or neck. Environment matters. In deep waters, Livyatan would have the advantage, being more adapted to high-pressure conditions. In shallow waters, Basilosaurus could use the terrain to maneuver and counterattack. If Basilosaurus was a swordsman using quick, precise attacks, then Livyatan was a cannon, where one well-placed strike could be enough to end the fight. This would undoubtedly be one of the most intense battles in ocean history. It is incredibly difficult to determine a clear winner, as both had their own strengths and advantages. For that reason, we believe the most realistic outcome would be a draw. There is no definitive answer to the question, how strong was Basilosaurus, since its victory or defeat depended on the opponent. Megalodon had superior size and strength, but if Basilosaurus found a weak spot, it could use strategy to bring down the shark. Orcas would likely lose in a one-on-one fight, but in a pack, they could overwhelm Basilosaurus. Livyatan was probably its most worthy rival, with equal strength and the potential to be the only true threat to Basilosaurus. What do you think? If a prehistoric ocean battle took place between these sea monsters, who would you bet on? On fire. Basilosaurus and the fossil mystery in the Sahara Desert. When mentioning the Sahara Desert, the first image that comes to most people's minds is endless sand dunes, scorching heat, and a harsh environment with almost no life. But if you had a time machine and traveled back 40 million years, you wouldn't see a barren desert. Instead, you would find a vast ocean, once teeming with life and home to massive marine creatures. One of them was Basilosaurus, the apex predator of the ancient seas. Today, the presence of whale fossils in the heart of the desert may seem strange, but it reflects an important truth about Earth's history. The Sahara was once a warm, shallow sea during the Eocene epoch, about 56 to 33.9 million years ago. At that time, This region was part of the Tethys Sea, a vast body of water that connected the ancient oceans. The Tethys Sea supported a rich ecosystem, teeming with countless species of fish, sharks, primitive marine mammals, and coastal mangrove forests. This was the perfect environment for Basilosaurus, the top predatory whale of its time. This sea monster ruled the food chain, hunting everything from sharks and smaller whales to ancient marine reptiles. One of the most important sites that helped humanity uncover this truth is Wadi al-Hitan in Egypt. Deep in the Sahara Desert today, Wadi al-Hitan, also known as the Valley of the Whales, is one of the world's richest fossil sites. Hundreds of Basilosaurus skeletons, along with primitive whales like Dorudon, ancient sharks like Otodus, and many other marine creatures have been discovered here. These fossils are so well preserved that researchers can clearly see the structure of their teeth, elongated vertebrae, and even bite marks on the skulls of prey that Basilosaurus once hunted. This discovery not only helps scientists better understand the evolution of whales, but also serves as strong evidence that the Sahara was once part of the vast Tethys Ocean. Many people fascinated by archaeology, upon learning this information, have expressed their amazement. You're traveling through a scorching desert, and suddenly you see a 20-meter-long whale skeleton. That's insane! Or, it's hard to believe that this place was once an ocean filled with giant whales. And would you be just as astonished? Millions of years ago, geological and climatic processes underwent dramatic changes, causing the disappearance of the ocean that once covered this region. There are three main reasons why this transformation from ocean to desert occurred. Continental drift. The Earth's tectonic plates are constantly shifting, gradually shrinking the Tethys Sea until it eventually disappeared completely. Sea level drop. Over millions of years, global sea levels declined significantly, turning once shallow seas into dry, barren land. Climate change. As Earth entered cooler periods, what was once a thriving marine environment became an arid plain, eventually transforming into a vast desert. This means that Basilosaurus, Dorudon, Otodus sharks, and other marine predators that once dominated these ancient waters gradually lost their habitat. As environmental conditions changed too rapidly, these species couldn't adapt in time, leading to population decline and, ultimately, extinction. The legacy of Basilosaurus. With its bizarre appearance and ruthless predatory instincts, Basilosaurus has captivated not only paleontologists, but also the worlds of gaming and film. Although there haven't been many in-depth portrayals of this fearsome predatory whale, Basilosaurus has appeared in several popular video games and scientific documentaries. These depictions offer audiences a more vivid glimpse into the life of a predator that once ruled the oceans 40 million years ago. One of the most famous games featuring Basilosaurus is ARK, Survival Evolved, an open-world survival game that includes various prehistoric creatures, from dinosaurs to ancient marine animals. However, the way ARK portrays Basilosaurus has disappointed many players, as it is designed to be a gentle whale rather than the fearsome apex predator it truly was. In the game, Basilosaurus is a friendly marine creature that does not attack players and is even immune to stunning effects from jellyfish and electric eels. This is completely inaccurate, as in reality, Basilosaurus was a super predator capable of crushing the skulls of Otodus sharks and Dorudon whales with a single bite. Many players have voiced their frustration with comments like, "Why is it so peaceful in Iraq? It should be the most terrifying predator in the ocean." Or, "They should make Basilosaurus more aggressive, not just a passive whale." Some players believe that if Basilosaurus were accurately designed, it should be a deadly ocean predator, capable of launching surprise attacks on players with its devastating bite. Others have even suggested that Basilosaurus should be a boss-level creature similar to Megalodon or Mosasaurus to truly reflect its fearsome nature. When discussing a more realistic depiction of Basilosaurus in gaming, one of the most mentioned titles is Subnautica, the famous underwater survival game. This game is well known for its terrifying giant sea creatures, especially the Livyatans, massive monsters lurking in the depths of the ocean, creating a true sense of fear as players explore the dark abyss. Many fans have wondered how the developers of Subnautica would react if they saw comments like, "Basilosaurus looks just like a real-life Leviathan. It should be added to Subnautica immediately." If Basilosaurus were introduced into Subnautica, it could become one of the most fearsome predators in the game. Instead of hiding in the deep sea like most leviathans, it could lurk near the ocean's surface and suddenly dive down to ambush its prey, a hunting strategy it likely used in reality. Although no feature film has truly delved deep into this species, Basilosaurus has appeared in several scientific documentaries, most notably Walking with Beasts, the sequel to the famous Walking with Dinosaurs series. In the episode Whale Killer of Walking with Beasts, viewers witness one of the most vivid and terrifying depictions of Basilosaurus. The documentary meticulously recreates its hunting behavior, showing that it didn't just feed on fish, but also attacked and devoured smaller primitive whales like Dorodon. One of the most striking moments in the film is when Basilosaurus lunges forward, attacking a juvenile Dorodon, crushing its skull with a powerful bite. This scene is an accurate depiction of the creature's hunting method, based on actual fossil evidence. Some fans have even admitted that they got chills watching Basilosaurus hunt in Walking with Beasts. Despite its immense potential, Basilosaurus has yet to appear in Hollywood blockbusters, while other marine monsters like Megalodon and Mosasaurus have made their way into major films such as The Meg and Jurassic World. Possible reasons include Basilosaurus is not as well known as Megalodon or Mosasaurus, so it hasn't caught the attention of filmmakers. Its bizarre appearance, neither fully resembling a whale nor entirely like a reptile, might make it seem less believable on the big screen. Its story remains largely unexplored, even though Basilosaurus has a fascinating history, from being mistakenly named the king lizard to its ruthless predatory behavior. However, with the ongoing boom in monster movies, a film featuring Basilosaurus could become a reality in the future. Many fans have requested that this beast be included in Jurassic World, so let's hope that one day we'll see Basilosaurus dominating the big screen. Basilosaurus was not just an ancient whale. It was an apex predator, a true ruler of the oceans over 40 million years ago. With its massive size, deadly teeth, and ruthless hunting tactics, it overshadowed even today's top predators like great white sharks and orcas. It was the terror of the seas, crushing the skulls of its prey in a single bite and hunting its own kind without hesitation. But like so many legendary monsters, Basilosaurus eventually vanished with the passage of time. The seas dried up, the climate changed, new predators emerged, and the king lizard of the ancient oceans became nothing more than fossilized remains buried beneath the scorching sands of the Sahara. Yet, Basilosaurus left an everlasting mark, not only in the evolutionary history of whales, but also in human imagination. It stands as proof of a time when giant beasts truly ruled the world, when whales were not gentle giants, but bloodthirsty hunters. So, if one day Basilosaurus is brought back to life on the big screen or in ultra-realistic survival games, would we have the courage to face it? Or would just the thought of a 20-meter-long sea serpent gliding beneath the surface be enough to make us never set foot in the ocean again? If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel to support us in creating more exciting videos about prehistoric monsters.